Okay, part two. What I did is we're cutting now. I did a little bit of start cut to make sure I was true to my line. Remember? True to the line. And I knew that it was right, and I started my cut down and remembered, oh, gotta videotape that. Look at there. Look at her. But you were off a little hair there. Look at it. Isn't that beautiful? It's my precious. You're my precious. Okay, so now let's mark the other side. Now I took my gate and I took it off from the other side that I just cut, and I turned the whole board. I took the whole board and I turned it around to the other side here. So I marked that one. Oh, got a saw, I'll show it to you. I put that to that line where the saw is going to cut, and then I marked it on that side. And there's the mark there. That's where the stick is going to sit, on the very back of that mark. And I did the same thing on this side, and I marked it. I put it on the end of the line, and I marked it for there. Hey, sweetie, my granddaughter came over to visit me. Look how pretty.
Yellow.
Okay, 1 second, be right back with you. Okay, I have it marked. I put the mark there, and I move the stick. Make sure you got about 8 inches or so hanging off. And I put it to the very end of that. Very end. I did the same thing here. This is the end here. To the very end of that mark there. Okay, I just finished cutting it. Look at that. True to that line, man. That baby stayed dead on balls. But I had to readjust it to take the screw out, because this was so far in the middle till my stick moved over a little bit. So I had to move it over again. But I did a start cut and stopped. Let me show you. Oh, there it is. Right there. I did a start cut, I stopped, and I seen that it was on just a hair on the other side of the line. Just a hair. So I moved that stick over, and I went and I got it back on the line, and I took it all the way down. So that's just at that very tip. What if you do that? You'll have to throw it all away and start all over. Oh my God. No, it's not that type of party. And there it is. See there? Looking good, isn't it? That's my baby. Now keep in mind, little imperfections that you have in your wood, your screws and all that, you're not going to see it. This is going to be all padded all the way around, and then it's going to be covered with your vinyl. Okay, let's mark it for the swivel bracket. You're going to need a piece of paper and your tape measure. We're going 2 1/8 inches with your tape measure. Here and there, mark a line. There and there, mark a line, and then draw your line across. All right, so that you know that this line here is 2 1/8 inches across from the top part of your triangular seat. The top part, all right? That's what this is going to sit on. Now, we want it even on both sides. How do we do that? You take a piece of paper, you put it on the end of your board like that, all the way across to the other end. All right, you simply, it'll be fit on both ends there like that. You simply fold this in half And when you fold that in half, voila, there's your center line. You also find your center line on your bracket. There it is there. You can do that with a piece of paper, or you can do that by measuring that as well. This all comes apart simply by pulling your pin. I'm trying to do it with one hand. Pull that pin out. Those are your little washers there. Those washers are hard to get on when you put this back together, but it's all worth it, trust me. It'll all be worth it. They're just like little spacers. That's what they are. Let me get this off. Oh, Lord have mercy, I done popped one away. I gotta find that. All because of you. Okay, so okay, set it down, set your top piece down. Centered with your center mark. Draw your holes. Draw your holes. Okay, mark your center. Take a nail or a punch, whatever you have, screw, whatever, and put a little indentation there so you know where your drill bit goes and it doesn't go dancing on you. We're going to use a 32 64th inch drill bit to put these T-nuts in. Let's go drill these holes out first. Look at those holes, they magically appeared. Okay, after you drill the holes, flip it over. That's where your T-nuts go in. I just happen to have a drill press so I can get those holes drilled in real easily. And I also have a press which is going to press these T-bolts in pretty easily and pretty fast too. So let me go get that done. If you don't, you can use a hammer and get those babies on there. Put a block on top of it and then, you know, a little piece of wood or something, a block of wood, and then tap those babies down. But it's better if you got a press though. Okay, let me get this in and show you how that looks. Voila, there it is. Nice and flush. Did I say T-bolt? I meant T-nut. T-nut. All right, so you get both of those on real good, and then you move on. All right, this is a 5/16 inch bolt going in here, and it screws right into that T-nut, which is on the other side there. Now, both of them would be in before I screw it in, but I'm not going to screw it in, put the other one on because I'm not going to waste the T-nut. This is just for purposes of showing you, but you would do both sides the same way. But, okay, your 1/2 inch socket, once you get that on, like that, would work just fine. Okay, put your bracket on, the bottom bracket, bolt it in on both sides. I just have a wing nut on here, but you're not going to use wing nuts. You're going to use self-locking nuts on here. That'll come with your bracket set. All your mounting hardware will come together. You put the, just slide your pin in so that, you know, that's your swivel there. It'll swivel like that. That's why I did that cut. Never mind that. Okay, then you come over to the back of it. You center that. Once you get that centered, now pretend this is welded on. You take your pencil and you mark the circumference of this spring all around on both sides, all the way around. After you've marked it, You get your center of that. I just eyeball it. Find your center mark. And you get you one of these hole saws here that do different size holes. And you're going to take off the outer of these. They come off like that. And you're going to go all the way down until you get the size of your spring. Then you take your drill with all of those still on there, and you drill that out. And you only want to go down, just up. Let me see exactly how far you go down. Anyway, you have to take this and you cut these out, and they pop right out of there. They pop right out of there. When I'm holding it with two hands, you'll see them just pop right out. Once you clear these out, then you're fine. Now check this out. This is really a universal spring bracket. If you want to put this type of spring on instead of this type of spring, then after you bolt this spring, you mount this on the same bracket. Your T-bolt goes in the top of the back of here. You mark where that is going to go through, all the way through the same way you mark that. Drill all the way through, press your T-bolt on top here, and then your other bolt will go through the bottom of this. Once you mount this on, it will go, your bolt will go up into there and tie in to the T. And I keep saying T-bolt, T-nut. Your T-nut. And I like to use a T-nut with a longer shank because just a little longer shank than this one. And these here will give you more for your nut to tie on into this wood like that. See, you can use a little longer shank. So about there. Anyway, you put that on top here. Now your bolt is going to tie in from the bottom and screw into the top. You don't have to put the indentations on because your bolt is holding that spring on. Whereas this one, it's seated into that indentation. Okay? So if you want to screw yours on, screw it on that way. Screw it on that way. Universal bracket, whichever spring set you want, type you want, and you're fine. I just happen to have these type of springs, so that's what you get. Now from here, you would pad this up, and I mean that's your spring there. That's your spring when you're bouncing, when you're riding on your trails, and you're looking at the birds and the pretty plants and all of that type of stuff. That's what these bikes are for. Now, when you cover your seat up, it's going to, when you got all this all covered up because of your pads and everything, it's going to look like this. Now, this is just a covering that I put on. The vinyl cover goes over that. So, that's how you make these seat pans. Again, you don't have to make it out of the thicker wood. You can use the thinner wood. If you're just mounting it on your frame, because your frame is going to hold that thinner wood, because you won't have this on here if you're not using this system. When you're using this type of system, you need to either put the indentations in for these type of springs, or some more T-nuts. I always say bolts, T-nuts, to mount this type of spring.